Words really don't have an existence on their own. They are shaped by the context in which they are used. So let's look at something as simple as the word cut. If I say, cut me a slice of apple, or if I say, ouch, this cut is hurting me, or I say, that kid is a cut above the rest in mathematics. Each time the meaning of the word cut is actually defined by the words around it, the context in which it is used. In fact, we have this very beautiful idea in India of dhwani. Dhwani very literally, it's actually not easily translatable, but the closest that one can come to translating dhwani is a resonance or shadow or echo. In fact, there is this idea that it is the words, a word acquires meaning on the basis of the shadow that is cast by the words around it. And so when we look at it and when we examine our own experience of our acquisition of our vocabulary or, the way we speak, the number of words that we know, you would realize that even though, the class taught you word lists or taught you some word meanings, if you are a reasonably good speaker of English, your vocabulary is anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 words. You look back and see how many words of these were taught to you and how many words did you discover. You will discover that the words that were actually taught to you were probably 100 to 200 and almost all of the other words you discovered on your own. How did you discover them? When, for example, you took the morning newspaper, when you were much younger, assuming that you did read the news, you would realize that many of the words that you read, you had never experienced before. You had never encountered them before. You did not know the meaning of them. But somewhere or the other, you got the gist of the meaning of what was being conveyed to you on the basis of the context and the other words that you knew. So this is the way in which we slowly start interpreting words and discovering words. So if you know the word big, and suppose you have gone to the extent of knowing the word huge, how do you discover a word like gigantic? Is it something that somebody actually has to explain to you what gigantic is? But you just look at that and say, wow, look at that gigantic elephant. And is that word now discovered by you just on the basis of that one experience? This is actually the process by which we actually acquire words, the way by which we actually assign meanings to words. And we don't necessarily assign only one meaning to a word, but we would actually know how to assign the right meaning to a particular word in the context. This entire process is comprehension to meaning, which means that I understand the idea first and I come to the word later. So while discovery is this natural process, the way we typically engage with words in the formal classroom is exactly the opposite of how the discovery process happens. So you build from the word up instead of building from the idea down. It is the idea that must lead to the word. It is not the word that must lead to the idea. This is a principle that we must acknowledge and think back from our own experiences and say, how am I going to bring this idea to work in the classroom? The whole idea behind why words must be discovered via comprehension is that almost all words in English, or a very large majority of words in English, change meaning as per context. And these words are also dynamic in the sense that, what certain usages that never existed 10 years ago come into usage today. And you need to now find a new assigned meaning to the same word that you had used earlier. So if you knew the word cell at some point in time from your biology textbook, and now if you look at the word cell, how much difference, how much of a transformation that has undergone, would you ever be confused between that cell and this cell? if you encountered it in context, you never would be. And that is something that we must have faith that this ability to discover words on our own when they are presented in context is something phenomenal that we have. And that has to be the primary mode through which we discover words, we build our vocabulary.